All right, this is the DisplayLink by WAVLINK, and I'm just here to tell you this is one of the best things I ever bought. Sorry, it's kind of dusty. We are working on our basement drywall, so it's a very dusty room. But anyway, what I have here is a Asus Zephyrus G15. It's getting older now. It's like 6 years old. So this has two USB-C ports there, but it does not have Thunderbolt. So I have these two 32-inch monitors, and my solutions to plug both of them in, it supports it natively, but I have to use like one of these with a HDMI adapter and then the HDMI port, or both of these with their own adapter. But I've always wanted one solution because I also have several USB, like I have a USB keyboard, my mouse, I have a couple of different printer things that I need running all the time. So I wanted a solution where I could plug less stuff in. So basically a dock. I wanted a dock, but it took me a long time to find a dock that would support running two 4K displays without having Thunderbolt, because I don't have Thunderbolt. And so that, if you know, that really limits the bandwidth, especially if you want to run them at 4K 60. So finally, after doing some research, I found this WAVLINK DisplayLink. This is the 4K version. It does require a browser, but I mean, that takes like 2 seconds to install. Once the driver, once the driver's installed, this is hands off, totally hands off. So this sits here on my desk. It's got my keyboard, it's got my printers, it's got my mouse, it's got everything plugged into it. It even has its own power, which I'll talk about in a second. So this does require power. And then it's got back here, HDMI 1 and HDMI 2, going to my two monitors. And I think this might support what's the other one called? I don't remember, but you know what I'm saying. The other format for just plugging stuff in, I'm having a brain fart right now. But anyway, then you have this one USB-C cable coming off of this. Remember, I installed a driver, and then all I gotta do to fire up both of my monitors here is plug in one cable. Plug that one cable in, and that says on power delivery. I'll explain that in a second. Takes just a second, fires up both my monitors in 4K. Everything is running fine. There's no lag or anything. I have no problem moving my mouse, and I can set up all my windows and all that. So that's awesome. The last thing I'll say, which is like an even, I don't know, a bonus, I guess, but it ended up being one of my favorite things about it, is that because this laptop does accept power delivery through USB-C, the WAVLINK is also powering my laptop. So I've always had to plug in, I didn't even know this when I bought it, but I've always had to plug in my separate power adapter, and then it's a pain to always carry that around, so I just have to keep a power adapter down here, buy another one to put in my backpack. Now, one cable fires up 5 USB devices, 2 displays, and the power adapter for my laptop, and that's pretty sweet. So this thing works flawlessly. I got the driver, and it's worked every moment since. Never had a hiccup or stutter with it. And if you happen to be in a similar situation to me, or if you just want to check out WAVLINK's products, I highly, highly recommend. It is pretty cool.